So I'm getting, this person says they don't care when they do. It's giving this energy that this person has an avoidant personality. They don't like to deal with things. They'd rather just push it under the rug and forget about it, act like it never happened, but just let the problem continue to grow until it gets worse, and then someone is bound to explode. If you're new here, I am Mystic Alchemy. Hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. I am an intuitive reader. I have visions when I'm awake and when I'm sleeping, and I draw them. Okay. So Spirit, tell me more about this situation. What is this about? It's actually difficult for this person to cope. Well, I don't really think they cope with anything. It's difficult. This person's choice of how they move, they actually don't like it, but they don't know how to pivot to another way. Like, this is someone that is very stuck in their ways, and they'll say things to brush things off when it should be talked about, but it just makes situations worse. Every time they do it, it always makes the situation worse. So instead of communicating, it's hard for them to communicate. With this 10 of Wands and the King of Swords, they have a lot they want to say, but they're choosing not to say it because it's like they anticipate, it's like more of a problem maybe, or they anticipate not being able to articulate themselves. Maybe they feel that way. Maybe they feel like they can't really articulate themselves the way they want to. But they have trouble confronting problems in a relationship. They just often, they don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. All the time. I don't want to talk about this right now. I'm tired. I have stuff to do. I don't want to talk about this right now. Like, do you always have to be so negative? But it's not about, they don't realize that they're being negative when they act that way, because they're not trying to solve the problem. They're just letting it sit there and get worse. And they're also not acknowledging your feelings, okay? It's almost like, it's kind of weird, but they feel like they're showing you love by not telling you how they truly feel and just acting like nothing ever happened. With this King of Cups, the Chariot, and the Page of Wands, it's like they think that they could just, they feel like they're too harsh with their words. That's part of it. I feel like they feel like they don't know. Is it back to being able to articulate themselves? Like they feel like, this is an interesting energy. Let me pull more cards before I speak, because I'm getting a mix of things. It's like they just feel better if they don't address things. But that doesn't really make sense. But that's their logic. But at the same time, it bothers them. They're bothered by how they deal with problems in your relationship. They're bothered by it, but I don't even think they really tell you. It doesn't feel like they tell you. I feel like this is a hidden struggle that they have. They don't tell you about it though. It's like suffering in silence. But you know they do it all the time. You could tell that they have a problem communicating. It's not hard for you to tell, but you just wish they would talk about it. Like, can we talk about it? Like, why do you have to be so tight-lipped? You know what this is giving right now? It's giving how Men are usually treated in society like they're not supposed to cry. They're not supposed to be vulnerable. They're not supposed to have any emotions, any feelings. And it's also giving, when this person was younger, they were scolded a lot for showing their emotions. And maybe called like weak when they were younger. So they were told to like, you know, stop crying all the time. And there's a way to try to help somebody with that, especially a young person. But it's like their emotions got suppressed. They weren't able to express themselves as a young person. So now as an adult, it's difficult. It's difficult to communicate. It's uncomfortable. It's difficult. And they think they're going to be criticized. So that's what makes it so hard, because it's like a wound that every time there's like an argument and then it's time to talk about it, they'd rather just leave it alone because they get too passionate. And they feel like when they get like that, people misunderstand them. So they just choose not to say anything at all. Like they just choose to close up, like clam up, walk away, let some time pass, come back like nothing ever happened, to avoid it, avoidant. They don't want to be like this though. They also don't want to feel so defensive, but it's like a protection mechanism, because when these things happen, it's kind of like it brings up old memories that hurt them, that really affected them, that could have made them cry all by themselves. Like they couldn't cry in front of maybe their parents or their siblings because they were made fun of or just put down. So it just makes it so hard for them to communicate as an adult with you. And also, I'm hearing that they value your opinion. So things that you say, it really sticks to them, regardless of how much they act like it's not bothering them. Things that you say actually sticks to them. Like it sticks to them, and it's hard for them to accept certain things that you say. So it's like they just try not to encounter that stage of conversation. Like they try not to get to that deep point because it gets too uncomfortable for them to be able to go through with it. They feel like they're going to be judged. They don't really know how the situation is going to go, so they always just avoid it. And in their mind, it's going to go bad. It's going to go bad, and it's like a protection. They're trying to protect themselves. Because they have a weakness in this space when it comes to talking about something serious, like having like a real conversation, talking about something serious. It's hard for them. Very challenging for them, and it's like they can't shake it. They can't shake it. So you might always wonder, like, why don't you ever want to talk about anything? Why every time there's something wrong, you always say you don't want to talk about it, and you always like avoid it. Between worlds, I'm seeing here, between worlds. It's like this person is stuck between their past self and the highest version of themselves. And the highest version of themselves is like calling out to them to activate and speak. And don't be ashamed or feel fearful of how you truly feel about certain situations. Like don't be afraid, don't be ashamed. That's what their higher self wants them to do. But them being ignored so much as a younger person, it affected them so much that it's almost like certain things that happen makes them feel like a kid again. It makes them feel right back in that place that they were in as a child, when they felt bad for speaking out about how they truly felt. They felt bad about it because they would always get scolded for it or mocked. I just heard. Happy. Okay, so this is giving, they act happy when they're not. So they'll put on a happy face, but they're really hurting. And it's really starting to get to them now. It's reminding me of the Joker. You know that uncontrollable laugh that he has in the movie? But he has so much pain inside from what happened to him. And the laughter is like some type of disorder that he can't control. This person can control the narrative of their life, but they feel like they can't. Chaos and conflict. It's like they're very conflicted with themselves. There's like a push and pull energy with this person. 333 is out. And 26. 8. They're stuck in their own mind. It's like a mental prison. This is either you or the person that you're dealing with. If this is your person, or if this is you, either way, just know that the best way to heal is to just take action and just force yourself to speak on what bothers you. You could take your time. You don't have to rush. You don't have to feel like you have to say everything perfect, because you're human. Just say what you need to say. That's what's most important. Just say it. Just say it. You know, just say it. Whatever's bothering you. And if it's like that, it's like a thing where if you can't express yourself and just say whatever you need to say, how you want to say it as who you are in your own skin, and if you are not, if what you provide in that situation or in that, under those circumstances is not received, especially if you're coming from a place, a good place, it's not like you're coming from a place of malice, then that person shouldn't be in your life, okay? If you feel like you can't, if you feel like you're not heard in your relationship with your person, that's the wrong person. You're not with the right person. Because someone that cares about you and loves you, they're going to hear you. They're going to listen to you. They're not going to just always have something negative to say. They're going to actually listen to what you're saying. And then even if you're if they feel like you're criticizing them, if they don't have the ability to at least listen to what you have to say and let you finish, and then respond to you after, then that's not the right person. It could be like a situation where that person has things that they have to deal with as well, here and now. 32-5, change. It's time for a change, and the change here is for this person to be honest with themselves, whoever this is, whether it's you or your person. But they need to be honest with themselves, or you need to be honest with yourself. This person does, in order to activate guidance from your higher self. Because the more you connect to your higher self and start acting in a way of being sure, like very sure and certain of yourself, the more you will be given, the more courage you will be given. But you have to take the first step, because your energy is felt. Like through your frequency. What you give out, of course, you're going to get it back. So if you are clamming up, then you're saying that you're not ready to be supported in the challenge of change for you or for them. Okay? This person has to be ready. Unfinished symphony is the card that just came out, the number 10, completion. Unfinished symphony. This is like unfinished, unhealed wounds, unfinished symphony. So, loyal heart. By you accepting the fact that, by you or your person, by this person accepting the fact that, what does it say? Round and round. It's time to speak up and not be so avoidant, and that it's healthy to actually communicate. That's when healing starts. That's when you'll be able to actually start to feel better, because I just feel like whoever this is, they don't even know how it's going to turn out. But because of things that happened in the past and things that were said to them, they only see negativity because that's all they ever experienced. They never experienced anything else. So it's like, now that's all they expect. They don't expect anything more than disappointment. This is about being loyal to yourself. And when you have something to say it. Especially in like a romantic relationship, and especially if you truly love the person, because this could be like a make or break situation. Like this, with lack of communication, can make or break a relationship. It's either it's just gonna fall apart because nobody knows how the other one is feeling, or it's just gonna be resentment. So it's always gonna be like arguing, and it's going to be an uncomfortable, dense situation. Like heavy. Like the energy is going to be heavy. And it's like heavy off the strength of lack of communication. It's uncomfortable when you're in a situation and the other person's walking around like something's wrong, but not communicating. And if you're an intuitive, you know what's wrong with your person, but they have to say it in order for their light to shine through, for them to be able to feel confident enough to say what they have to say and to really speak on what's bothering them. Once they feel confident enough, it will shift their energy and they will be supported by the spirit realm. Like the spirit realm will support it, but it has to be initiated because we have our own will by the person that's going through it. That's where the initiation happens. Like, you know, what's the advice? Let's see. What's the advice? First breath, beginner's mind. See, like this is a new beginning, and it came out in reverse. So it's just showing how challenging it is to move forward. Like whoever this is really delaying themselves from healing and from feeling better. I just heard it's not that I don't want to heal. It's that I'm scared to. I'm scared to try. I already know it's not going to work. You know that energy where somebody just is so broken that they just feel like no matter what they do, nothing's going to turn out well. 3 again. I have 4 3s on the laid down right here right now. 4 3s are here. Eye of the needle, intentionality. When you really express what you're passionate about and what's bothering you, you start to move with intention, is what I'm getting. And not being honest when something is wrong, it affects intentions. I'm hearing it affects intentions. It blocks intentions. Okay, so it blocks intentions. Like, this person could have good intentions, but that good intention is masked by the avoidance. So it's like the person on the other side of this relationship is not going to be able to recognize the intention here, because there's no communication. So it's like in the darkness, smoke and mirrors. And usually, you know, I mean, smoke and mirrors is a bad thing, but this person doesn't, that's not their intentions, but that's what it's giving, because there's no communication to clear the air, to clear the smoke. They have the opportunity to change and to make this relationship stable. But if whoever this is continues to not speak when something is bothering them, it's eventually going to cause the whole relationship to crumble. I heard to the point of no repair. So, diving into a task, deep diver. So in this case, it would be a good idea to, if this is not you and this is your person, try to make them feel comfortable to talk. Let them know, like, I'm not going to criticize you. I'm not going to make you feel bad for how you feel. I just want you to be honest. Like, because if this relationship is not making you happy, then I'm not happy. And then we're not happy. So we have to figure this out. Excuse me. We have to figure this out together so we can make it right. Because if we can't make it right, then we're wasting each other's time. And that's, I mean, I feel like that's a good way to approach this situation. I mean, you don't have to use exactly what I said, but it's a good start to get you in that mindset, because this could be very frustrating in a relationship to the point where you just want to curse this person out, throw a pillow at them, throw the remote control. You just get mad. Okay, this is a situation where you just get angry, and those are valid emotions. It could be aggravating because you're trying to talk to the person doesn't want to talk, and they're avoidant, they're walking away, acting like they don't hear you, to try their best not to approach this whole situation at all, trying to avoid it, and it can be very aggravating. But if you can just start talking and just saying, I won't judge you for whatever it is that you have to say, you know. And if the person doesn't even receive that well and they still act up, then you know it's probably about to end. Like, this relationship is probably going to end, because they're not finding it within themselves to change. This person has to desire to change. And just also, you could bring that up, like, if we don't fix this, we're gonna fall apart. Like, if you really want this to work and you really care about me and you love me, then there's things that need to be talked about. Like, we have to talk about it. You can't just continue to walk around like nothing's wrong when you have so much to say and you're not saying it. Especially when you know a person and you've been with them for a while, you know that when something's wrong, you know when they have something to say. Benefactor, grace, and generosity. Yeah, I feel like you approaching a situation in a way without anger would be the best way to at least try to make it work, because otherwise it's going to fall apart. So this is like her saving grace. You could be the saving grace of this relationship, because either you or your person is feeling very weak in this area, and they have a right to, because they went through some things. So it's making it difficult for them to overcome it. But it's possible, but somebody has to initiate the communication and at least try. Okay, I'm going to get an angel message. Where's the cards? Oh. I'm going to get an angel message here. Prosperity. It feels like this is the biggest problem in a relationship. The lack of communication. Because with this prosperity coming out, it's like saying that this is actually a prosperous relationship. But there's awakenings that need to take place for the both of you. Like trying different approaches, trying different methods, different ways to approach the situation would be very helpful. Being innovative when it comes to communication. Because this is very challenging for the both of you. It's not just one of you. It's not just the one who doesn't feel comfortable expressing themselves, but it's both of you, because one doesn't feel comfortable expressing themselves and one has been ready to have this conversation. So it's like very difficult for both of you. Yeah, so now it's time to just be adult about it. Sit down and say it. You know, just say it. Say whatever it is, and you'll know, where this relationship is leading based on how the other person responds to what you say. Because we cannot control everything, but we can try to navigate things for the best result. If it doesn't work, it's okay. You may have you may need to set aside some time to heal from this, because it could be heartbreaking when things like this happen. But at the same time, it's best to not waste each other's time anymore and consider other options if you can't get down to the bottom of get to the root of the problem to fix it, repair it, heal it. What's the antidote? Because this is just one of those things where people will be distracted from their purpose if they're going through things like this. So this is the type of stuff that needs to be rectified, corrected, needs attention, so that your light can shine through, because these things could dim your light and you don't even realize it. Okay? So communication is key here in this reading. So do your best to just sit down and try a new way to communicate. If you usually argue, try not to do that. Try to be calm and just talk. And start with, like, I'm not trying to argue. That's not the goal. The goal is to let's see what the problem is so we can fix it. Like, who wants to actually be walking around mad all the time? That's like wasted energy. Especially if it's not being transmuted. It's time to transmute all that negativity and turn it into something beautiful. No matter how it goes, it's either going to end up being with the person and it's going to work, or it's not. It's like cut and dry. You don't have to think too much about it, because it is what it is. Okay? So, I hope this message has helped you in some way. If you would like to book a reading, you can just check the description box below for the details. If you would like to book a consultation, you can check the details below as well. All of it is at milkhoneyrose.org, where you could do that. And yeah, that's it for this reading. Again, I hope it helps someone. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye, honey roses.